Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Unisharks. Lemon Shark, is our host today, and I'm joined by Hammerhead and Mako Sharks.
Hi. Hi, Lemon.
So, thank you guys for joining us today. So, hope you all had a good week. So, today we are thinking about discussing alphas and betas in video game terms. So,
yeah, video games, people.
Video game terms. Yeah, I guess another way of looking at it is early access, I guess. The beta comes first before the alpha, right? Or is alpha then beta?
Oh. Well, yeah, in the Greek alphabet, it's alpha and then it's beta.
So beta's a new one. The one that...
Yeah.
Yeah, beta's closer to being done.
Okay. Yeah, no, I've noticed there's a lot of like indie studios that do like that, except it's called early access, and I've seen a lot of success stories of that, but it doesn't really seem like a lot of companies are doing that anymore. Even officially, there's a trend where video game companies will like release the game have unfinished and they finish it as the time goes on. But
yeah,
right, Cyberpunk.
Yeah. I mean that was the latest game that brought this back up again, because there's the biggest backlash of people wanting it out, and they wanted to hold off again. I think they wanted to wait till April, right? Or is it March or something like that?
Yeah, it's been delayed like 3 times.
Yeah.
Is that what they said during that developer apology thing?
No, it's just been delayed 3 times. They first wanted to do it in April, then they switched it to November, then December.
Yeah, and so they put it out, and then everyone knows how it turned out. But there's been other examples. Even some games that have been pretty fun, like Jedi Fallen Order. That was very fun, but it definitely had some things that they should have tested first.
A lot of fun bugs.
Yeah, and so there are good experiences with it, but it's tough to say it's a complete game when they have those problems going on
launch. But I guess it's impossible to avoid those problems, though.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But at the same time, though, you can do better and like try to work it out more. Like,
yeah,
you can always minimize the amount of bugs.
Like one example that you know a lot, Lemon, is oh crap, I just forgot the name.
Subnautica?
Yes, thank you. Why can't I just said it in my head and then I forgot it. Because it was beta, but it was beta forever.
Yeah, it was early access for like forever, then it finally released.
Yeah, and which is a little bad in my opinion, because if you put it out for too long, then people will have enough.
We get bored of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some people out there that really like gaming, I guess.
Yeah, it is a sandbox.
I guess so.
Yeah, it is a sandbox game, and so it definitely can change. Not as much as Minecraft, for example, but it does. The biomes, I think, could have a different arrangement or something like that. But I know. I feel like if games did that more, it would satisfy those people that are begging for the game to come out.
Yeah, you can also just wait and then let it come out when it's like full released,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it should be like an industry sort of standard for them to get the game finished. Like all they have to do is just a little cleanup here and there, and then they announce, okay, we're releasing this in like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
Or at least, put out trailers saying, oh, this is coming out soon, we're working on it, but don't put like a specific date until you're absolutely sure you can meet that date,
Yeah, and there are companies that do that. I mean, then again, it does kind of suck every once in a while. One prime example is Metro Prime 4. They just said they were making it years back, and no release date. We don't know how much they're working on it, what's new in it yet, or anything like that.
Yeah, I do. Oh, good.
Yeah, so it just kind of sucks, because you have to wait for so long with no information.
Well, I do remember they actually came out with like an update where they said, so we decided to start all over because it wasn't meeting our standards of quality. And this was probably a year or 2 ago.
Yeah, and so still we don't
know anything, just that they're working on it.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, it's double-edged, but, it's more not satisfactory. It sounds better.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense because it's like, instead of saying it's coming out, January 2021 when they weren't sure if they could finish it, then it would have been another Cyberpunk situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like doing early access or alphas and betas would be like easier on the developers too, because then they're able to see the bugs as they come in, and you have like a bunch of free testers coming in and just doing it. It kind of funds your project a little bit. So I feel like it take a lot of stress off the developers by doing that.
And it builds up hype too. It's good publicity.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Yeah.
I think the weirdest alpha that I've seen is Fortnite.
Oh, that one just blew up. So
Yeah, because it started off as just a zombie survival thing. You're just supposed to build forts and fight off waves of zombies, and then
Really?
yeah,
Oh.
and it was like it's been an alpha for years, because then they decided to copy PUBG, and that became so huge that that's been their focus ever since. So you can still pay, I think, $40 to be part of the alpha and get the zombie game mode if you want.
Huh.
But last time I checked, I think last time I played Fortnite, it was still like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, but then again, none of us keep up with Fortnite that often unless they put out announcements.
Yeah, none of us really play Fortnite.
Yeah, I mean, they did put out some new characters. Not new characters. Like team-ups, I guess. Better like a term, with Mandalorian and now Halo. Got some
God of War.
Yep, God of War. And, they had the Marvel event. I don't know if it's still alpha, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, yeah, it would help. I feel like, what Lemon was saying, having people find bugs that maybe the developers forgot about, to be honest. Especially if it's a bigger game.
Well, just bugs are inevitable because like you can do as much testing as you want, but then when millions of people start using the code at once, it just like problems pop up anywhere,
Yeah. And so, I mean, it could help with that too. And so we don't have to wait 6 months for it to actually be a more complete, fun game.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just a good way to show what you're going to get. Like when they showed off Halo Infinite, and then there's all that, backlash because it looked so bad. And they said, wait, this is an alpha build. Just so you guys know, it's like, well, you should have put that up in the first place.
Yeah.
Sometimes I almost half wonder if it wasn't an alpha, and now they're just saying it was.
Who knows? Who knows anymore?
Right. But yeah, this should be done more often. But yeah, another topic we're thinking about discussing is the announcement of season 4 of Aggretsuko. So if you haven't watched Aggretsuko or heard of it, I definitely recommend watching it. But yeah, spoilers there. We're going to talk about it. But it's about a red panda that likes to sing heavy metal to vent her rage. It's the greatest scene ever. I didn't know I needed this show until I watched it.
So, sorry to interrupt. There's one little side thing. So there is like 100 episode shorts of Aggretsuko. It's similar. It is the same characters as a Netflix series, but it has some little tiny differences there and there. But yeah,
Yeah, it's originally like a video game, wasn't it?
I don't know.
it?
It was like used as a video game. Like it was like a video game you used to like, because you're playing the game, right?
Yeah,
How does it
but
work?
the mobile game I think is based off those little episodes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought I heard that she was like a mascot originally.
that
makes
might have
sense.
been it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same people that made Hello Kitty are the ones that are making Aggretsuko.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I did not know.
Oh, that explains everything.
Where's our like Hello Kitty episode?
Yeah. Where's our crossover?
That's the word, crossover thing.
Hello Kitty's like one of the biggest franchises in the world. The amount of money they could make off that crossover. Oh,
Great. But yeah, no, we've been discussing about Aggretsuko a little bit. We have our gripes and applauses for the show.
it's actually a pretty good show.
Oh yeah,
honestly.
overall it's really good.
We just like to roast certain characters.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, the weird ones.
Yeah.
Well, that and Haida.
yeah, that's who. You shouldn't. You should have just chose Inui.
You really should have.
Sorry if I butcher her name, but should have chose her.
Yeah. Drop the complicated girls design into you.
I know, right? But yeah, overall, I think we talked about before, it's kind of like a day in the life of a girl trying to make her way through a difficult business.
Yeah,
I
an
guess.
office situation.
Yeah, it's like it's totally like it looks like it's made for kids in a cartoon, but it's like totally meant for adults. Not like in a adult way where it's like a bunch of sex and violence, but it's just like relatable stuff for adults.
Yeah, like work, difficult job, or difficult bosses, and
Coworkers. Yeah, marriage as well. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, just a very good show. I definitely recommend it to y'all who haven't watched it.
Yeah, so we're excited about it. But
And it's
yeah, sorry, go on.
well, and it's not like a typical event of the week thing where like here's a new problem and they resolve it in the same episode. Like the third one had an ongoing arc for I think half the season.
Yeah.
So and then it got super dark out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
Which part are you talking about?
The idol part.
Oh,
The
that part.
psycho
Yeah.
fan with the jeez.
How many seasons are there? There's 1, 2, and 3, right? And there's a 4 coming out.
Yep.
So what happened in season 1? That was the issue with her boss. What happened in the second season?
Well, in the first season, it also had to deal with the wasn't it the straight face guy?
Straight face.
Yeah, the poker
Oh, yeah,
face,
yeah,
poker
the-
face, red
the-
panda.
The spacey guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the season finale, and then the second one dealt with her coworker.
Which one? Oh, Anai?
Anai,
Yeah,
and also
the freaky one.
Tadano,
Who?
the donkey.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the donkey.
He's a big part
The
there.
donkey.
Actually weird. Like I don't view it all as like one season, 2 seasons. I view it all in kind of like one big mesh for some reason.
Yeah, 'cause we did binge it mostly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we binged it.
Well, we were kind of lucky because season 3 came out right when we were finishing.
Number 2.
Yeah, and so we were able to finish that.
Yeah, and I watched the first season years ago and liked it and just never got back into it until I got back from Colorado and these two were like, "Oh, you need to watch Aggretsuko," and I was like, "Oh yeah." So I binged that to catch up to them.
Yeah, I mean, we have bad news. One of us listened to it in English, but
Oh yeah.
Like any sane, normal American should do.
but yeah, jokes aside,
I actually even showed the first episode to my dad.
yeah, I remember that.
I tried showing him in English, but I couldn't do it.
Well, I think the dub in English was pretty good.
I think it's because we started in Japanese.
Oh.
But yeah, no, it's just I like Japanese better.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite character is Feniko, and the laughing is pretty funny.
It's like, what's wrong with you?
In all the languages. So, but should we talk about Haida?
Sure, why not?
How we were so annoyed with him.
I like him, but it's just at the end of season 3, I was kind of annoyed with him. It's like, bro.
Yeah, I think there comes a point where if the girl you're interested in just keeps turning you down, you need to just move on, eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, she never like straight up shut him down. She just kind of like avoided it a little bit.
yeah, because her herself was a very awkward dating person. I mean, she also more or less dated a couple people, and then she had some experiences with potentials like the polar bear,
Oh yeah.
cool guy.
Yeah.
Well, that stuff was pretty good, I thought, because that does happen in dating. Like, you find someone that you
Yeah.
think, that you're good with, and then as you get to know them, you realize, well, they're just not quite there. It's really frustrating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I feel like Retsuko was doing that, but Haida kind of wasn't. But then again, I feel like that's kind of a stereotype of guys.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Haida was kind of, he wasn't really like, he didn't really get to know her like and like her for who she is. He kind of like, he fell in love with the idealized version of her. Is kind of what the series points out a little bit.
Really? I mean, it's been a while since I've seen it, a few months.
I feel like it was a mix of both.
Yeah, true.
To be honest, the first season he didn't really know her.
Yeah.
He was just a coworker.
I kind of crushed on her.
Yeah, and then I at the end of season 3, I think he was liking her for who
True, yeah.
who she was, which was supposed to make us agree with it, but we don't.
Yeah.
Because there's still a better character for you, Haida.
Yeah. Like, I'm not too mad because I was rooting for Haida in the first season. I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah. But then when the other girl came on, the Inu, is it Inu or
Inue or something.
Whatever.
I don't know,
Yeah.
We're sorry.
not the bird Inu, but yeah, the dog character. Yeah, she's a very adorable character. And she even watched him play the bass and cooked for him. It's like, come
Yeah.
on.
And then during the event, she knew exactly what to do and helped him do it.
Yeah.
I was like, she's a boss. Why didn't you go for her?
I
Right.
don't know. But some other side characters, which I'm sadly kind of like die off, like the hippo. They kind of just don't show up that much anymore.
Oh yeah, I really like the hippo. She's really cute.
Well, she was this kind of side comedy for a while
Yeah.
until they brought in Inai, and she ended up being like the bridge
figure,
between him and everyone else.
Yeah.
And then Anai kind of stopped showing up, and then
Well, he made an appearance in season 3, I think.
appearance.
A few times. He was super chill now.
Yeah, so that's probably one of my one gripes is they just make appearances anymore. They don't.
Well,
really
the
have
episodes are
point.
really short, so they can't really do much.
Yeah, and so it's like there's a lot of factors into it. But I will say, I do like development of the characters. Like their boss, he seems like a douche, but he has his reasons. Okay, that sounds weird, but like he actually is kind of a softie. It's just how he was trained.
How he was kind of raised in the
in the-
workforce.
yeah, and that's just like the only thing he knew. But he actually does want to support his workers, you know?
Yeah, like he's a douche, but he'll still talk to them straight if they need advice.
Yeah.
That's something a few of them have realized. They're like, you're a really good person. He's like, nah, I'm just a guy willing to give it to you straight.
Yeah.
But,
So every now and then it's good to have someone like that, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a good show too because it kind of highlights a lot of social problems in Japan, like overworking and it confronts those social issues a little bit. Which I think is kind of cool how they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the seasons are on Netflix. If you want to watch the 100 episode, they're like 30-second ones. You have to find them somewhere else. Sorry. They're not on Netflix that I know of. If you find them, good for you.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyways, check out the show, go watch it, and give it a thumbs up. But anyways, another topic we were thinking of discussing was which dead franchise would you want to bring back if you could? And we'll start with you, Hammerhead Shark.
He is pointing at me.
Yeah.
You.
I almost forgot your pseudonym for a second.
So we had another question, and the series I was thinking about applies to this as well. Two series that I want back that are dead is one, Dead Space.
It's pretty dead, huh?
Yeah. Because of the cliffhanger. And to number 3. I just want a satisfying ending. And it was a lot of fun. But, I mean, like last episode, we talked about how they were working on a new project. So I'm super excited about that. And then another series is called Golden Sun.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
So it's a Game Boy. It's a Nintendo series that came out on the Game Boy Advance. And then the third installment came on the DS, not the 3DS. And so it's a RPG. Like, how much detail do you want?
Whatever. Just whatever you feel like sharing.
Okay, it's one of the 4-character party RPGs.
It's kind of like Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest. Or
Yeah, except you don't really switch between any more characters. You just have the 4. It uses the base elements, fire, water, earth, and...
Air.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, we had some distractions near us. Okay. And there's also like these summons. The summons are really cool. They use...
Can you summon the Avatar?
No.
At that point.
In first game, so you use these things called the Djinns.
Djinns?
Or Djinns. It's DJIN.
Oh, yeah, it's Djinns.
Okay, this is Djinns. I always call them the Djinns. I played it when I was super young, so what do you want? And you can use them to summon certain summons, I guess, kind of like Final Fantasy. And then the second one, you were able to mix elements for different ones, which is really cool. It's just a really fun RPG. The music's really good for the system it was on. And it also kind of ended, not really on a cliffhanger, because I haven't played the third installment, because the reviews are just meh. But I will play it eventually because I did buy it. I bought it in Mexico, actually.
Really?
Yeah. It was totally weird. It's like, okay.
Of all places.
I know,
And it
right?
was still in English?
Yep, English copy and everything.
Wow.
but it's super fun. I highly recommend playing it if you have emulators. It was also on the Wii U Virtual Store, but
They still haven't brought that to a Switch.
yeah, which is kind of sad because there's a lot of good series on there. Like, people just want a remake because it's been over a decade since it came out and everything. I think like 2002. Actually, it's gonna be 20. Okay, but anyways,
Come on, Nintendo.
I might be wrong. I'll check the date really fast, but I just want it put on the Switch just so people know more about it again.
Yeah. On like, for those of you, for a better idea of, like, I guess more of a connection to it, you might remember a character from Super Smash Brothers. Like an assist trophy. It's like this guy that,
Isaac.
yeah, shoots out levitating hands, and on Brawl he would push people off the screen. I think on Ultimate he'll actually grab them and slam them and stuff like that. But that assist trophy is one of the main characters from that game.
Yeah, he is the main character from the first game. And that's just ability that they usually have. It's just called push, typically. And then you do have other abilities like grab and stuff. It's just so you can help. Because there's a lot of overworld puzzles, and which are not too complicated. Every once in a while they're a little tiny pain. But, so it's a lot of fun.
They should have named it These Hands.
No, no.
They'd tell people, you're about to catch these hands.
Oh yeah, it came out 2001.
2001.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's gonna have its 20th anniversary. Come on, Nintendo! And August 1st. Yeah, it was made by Camelot Software.
Wow.
Yeah, good stuff.
How would you make it? What would you choose?
So I have a few. One of them, I'm very happy to announce that they just announced a sequel to it.
So you're lying to us.
Yeah.
Okay, no, sorry.
No, but so a few months ago, I ended up getting the Rare Replay game, whatever you call it, on Xbox. So, it has a bunch of their old games like Banjo-Kazooie, Grabbed by the Ghoulies, stuff like that. But the game that I ended up loving the most was Perfect Dark. So, and I found out all the stuff about it. It was like a spiritual successor to the N64 GoldenEye, which is one of the greatest games ever made. Because when Rare wanted to make... When Rare wanted to make a follow-up game for the next James Bond movie, they lost the contract to EA, who just made a crappy, mediocre, average movie game. So they were like, well, screw it. We'll just make our own version of GoldenEye, which is what they did, and that's what Perfect Dark was. And it's so freaking fun. Oh my gosh, I love it. So, but then they came out with the second one, and by then, like, the landscape of first-person shooters had changed, because Halo came out a year after it did.
Yep.
So, and it just couldn't really make its mark. It couldn't find its niche, Second one was decent, but not great. So this was back in 2005, and it's just been sitting on the shelf since. But then just, I think 2 months ago, or last month, they just announced that they're making a new one. I'm so excited.
Oh, wow.
So, and then another, you'll probably argue with me that it's not dead, but Sonic the Hedgehog. We need a good Sonic game.
It's not really, it's dead, it's just not good.
Yeah, it has a foot in the grave. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, that's debatable. I think it depends on which one, because they did put out the
Sonic Mania.
Yeah.
So that one's super good, but part of that is because it's like based a lot off the original games, which I played growing up. Because you remember in one of our other episodes, I mentioned how I grew up with the Sega Genesis. So I grew up with Sonic the Hedgehog, not Mario. So then, my sister, who's a bigger Sonic fan than I am, she has almost every Sonic game ever made, and I can just see like the rise and the fall over and over again. They'll come out with something that's pretty good, like Sonic Ages or whatever the heck it was, when he's like racing alongside his classic self.
Age of Calamity.
What? No. Get out of here. But yeah, and then of course they come out with Sonic Mania. It's like, okay, we're getting good Sonic games, and then suddenly they come out with Sonic Forces, which was garbage. It's like, I just want consistently good Sonic games, just every few years.
Yeah.
And then the final one, this is another Microsoft property that I blame them, honestly, for it. But it's called Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
Okay.
The fighter, right?
Yeah, it's a fighting game, and like it was kind of Microsoft and Rare's answer to Mortal Kombat back in the day. That's the best way I can describe it. But they decided to do a reboot back in 2012 or whenever Xbox One came out. It was like one of the big launch titles, and it just never really became big.
Go on, sorry.
So it just never really became big. And it's a shame because these guys came out with a documentary about it like last year. And going through it, you see the amount of effort the developers put into it. They got Mick Gordon, who did the Doom and Doom Eternal soundtracks, to do the music.
I remember you sharing with that.
Yeah, and like, normally I don't pay too much attention.
Yeah, go on.
So, but yeah, like a lot of the characters are really well designed. They have a Native American character that's considered probably the best representation of Native Americans they've had in a video game in a long time, because they actually contacted the Nez Perce tribe and consulted with them on the music and the character's design and his language, everything. So, and it's just a super solid fighting game, but it was 8 years ago. We've heard nothing more, and they're not planning on making another one, so far as I know. And it kind of ticks me off, because if Microsoft had just invested more money from the beginning, then it might have taken off more, because you can tell, like, just playing it, they didn't invest that much into it. There's no, like, set campaign mode like you get with Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. Yeah, it just feels like a wasted opportunity. They could have gotten more out of it if they put more into it, you know? So it's still like one of my favorite fighting games. I mean, where else am I going to put a werewolf against a ninja or a mummy or a giant war golem from 2,000 years ago? So, yeah, those are mine.
Nice. Good pick. For me, I'm not sure if this counts as dead quite yet, but it's kind of dead. As the Dishonored franchise. I think the last game didn't do too well, so there's no set plans of making a third Dishonored game, but I feel like that'd be really fun to bring back, because it's just such a very dense world they created.
Yeah.
And it's just very, like, I really like the world they created there, and really fun to explore other parts of it, and just the powers and the supernatural abilities you have in that game is just so ridiculous. I want to explore more of it.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I was surprised how much like effort they put into the world building, because you were showing me how they wrote books for it, and
Yeah.
like weren't there comics too?
Mm-hmm. There's comics for it as well.
Yeah, just a ton of background and world building. And plus the designs for everything you see in the game. There's a lot of thought put into it.
Yeah, it's just a very artistic game too. Like, there's a lot of like it's a game with a lot of style to it.
Yeah, style.
Yeah. And another franchise, I'm not even sure if this counts as a franchise, but there's this one webcomic I read called Elfin Warrior. Yeah. Like, I'm not like a big fan of fantasy, like we talked about before, but this is a fantasy one that I just like love so much because it's so bizarre. Like, it's a freaking tree stump that walks around and like gives off really bad puns and wants to destroy everything.
What?
Yeah, he just wants to burn the whole world, but he just kind of sits back and watches stuff and comments on like everyone's quests and whatnot.
Oh, gee.
And there's this freaking fish girl princess, and there's a town full of pug people. Like, oh my gosh, it's so ridiculous. I love it, and it's like one of the lesser popular webtoons out there, which is kind of sad. But yeah, I definitely want to give that like a big boost, especially the artists who work really hard on that. But yeah, I also go with Dead Space as well, but just because I enjoyed the first one a lot, and it'd be kind of fun to see more of Isaac Clarke and his story. But
See, I'm the only one of us that hasn't really played Dead Space. Like, you both have shown it to me, but I've never actually played it.
is it a game you want to play?
I'm curious enough that I think I want to try it at some point.
It is a pretty intense game. It's one of those games that I personally can't really binge through. Like, I just have to take a break every once in a while because there's just so much traumatic stuff going on.
Yeah, I think it took us about 14 hours to beat the first one.
I think it was 20 for me.
Yeah, that's just because there was more pause time than play time. Obviously, I mean, you had to sleep.
Yeah.
But, when it's a game that you really enjoy, you put in a ton of hours. And we enjoyed Dead Space. It's just
what it does too well.
yeah.
Traumatizing you and stressing you out.
Yeah.
So you just you play like 2 hours max a day.
Yeah. Maybe we're not a total psychopath, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So, how do you think it compares to other stuff like Resident Evil?
I think I haven't played Resident Evil, so I can't say it, but there's a lot of comparisons because I was watching a video talking about the developers talking about it, and they said they took a lot of inspiration from the Resident Evil games. So I think there's definitely a lot of like parallels to that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people can say it's pretty predictable.
It's pretty edgy too.
Yeah.
It's a very edgy series. There's freaking zombie babies that try to kill you, and you have to like rip them up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so like the game is a little predictable. There's gonna be something popping out, but it still gets you.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah. And the necromorphs, just like the design of them are really intense.
Yeah, they are.
It's like dang. It's like zombies on steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they did a good job doing that. Thanks, EA.
But yeah. We forgot to mention this, but we are doing this meme of the week theme. So I wanted to go around and ask you guys, what's the meme of the week that made you laugh the most?
For me, oh god,
I thought we kind of decided on one, but yeah, go ahead.
oh, for me it's been Lamar roasts Franklin.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, there's so many different ones now.
All the edits.
Yeah, not even just the original is so good.
The Grand Theft Auto one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've probably seen it. There's
Not clicking yet.
yeah, that's the actual title.
Which ones were you thinking of earlier? Because you said we talked about it.
The one that I feel like all three of us kind of really enjoyed. So it's kind of interesting. I found this it just popped up on my YouTube feed. And it was when you go through an RPG for a second time.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I have to give it to that. That was really good.
And it's actually pretty good as a standalone. So it turns out it's a 3-part series. On YouTube, we'll link to the first one so you guys don't watch it out of order like we did. But it works really well as a standalone. I thought it was just like, it's just going for the people that replay RPGs, and this is just what it feels like for you. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. But no, it turns out there's already when you play through an RPG, and then when you hear boss music, and then it's when you play through an RPG for the second time. And it's just so funny.
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre. And like the animation style is really interesting too.
Yeah, like I swear they're doing motion capture, but I can't figure out how they're doing it.
Yeah,
So there's no way they could afford it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, maybe.
Well, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
But it's like everyone has like the same face, and it's like an '80s retro thing.
Yeah, like it's got
Yeah,
the
kind of.
lines buzzing through it and everything.
Yeah, like an old TV, but it has Skyrim music. Well,
I don't know how they got away with that without being copyrighted.
I know, right? The Elder Scrolls series music. There might be a song from like Morrowind. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It might all be Skyrim. I don't remember. I haven't played this game for a little while. But I'm so glad that I showed you guys that I found the order. And then Lemon, yours is like, you were talking about it when we first finally watched it in order, right?
Oh yeah, it's like it gave so much more context to what was going on.
Yeah.
Even watching it out of context makes it even better, probably, because it just makes it that more bizarre.
Yeah. Well, you guys might be like asking what exactly it is. It really is just a guy playing through an RPG the first time and then the second time, but
Was animated himself going through like a made up RPG.
yeah,
Like,
but
it's not like a Let's Play or anything like that.
yeah, there's just so much else to it. It's just impossible to describe. Like you have to watch it.
The guy's voice acting is what gets me.
I know, right?
He gets into it so much. Yeah, you lied. You lied. Just the way he does it, it's like, wow.
I love it. He's like, huzzah! Charges.
The women, the children.
Oh, by the gods.
Shit.
You haven't seen the posters? What posters? Those posters. It's like, what?
Did Marshall get home?
We'll put a link. It's super funny.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Unisharks today. We'll see you next week, and hope you all have a safe and wonderful week. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, see ya.